Recently, there was well, when is there not a bombshell chums from Meghan and Harry? And of course, the ongoing story that really fascinates many people are really the secrecies of the children, the birth of the children, Archie and Lily. Now, naturally, as many people would imagine, I have my own suspicions. And what I find, personally incredible is it's rather cruel to be bringing children into these particular stories. We all know the background to the stories and the alleged things, etc. I do personally believe that both Harry and Meghan, though, like to create a circus around them, by lying to the media, by lying to the family, whatever. They decided at that point, even at the birth of their first child, Archie, they never really wanted to tell the truth, did they? I don't know why, whether they thought it made them more exciting, but actually it created something more around them. And the problem that you have with that is simply, what do you do then at that point? Where it gets interesting is recently it was made a claim by the fact, of course, by Meghan's half-sister, that in fact her first husband, Trevor, she was told, well, basically said that, she could not provide him with children. Now, this is where this story gets very, convoluted, to say the least, because as we know, Mr. Engelson has, carved out a totally different life for himself. And when you think also, it has to say just what a nice guy he truly is, because he could have made a lot of money for his version of events. Everybody spikes and says about exactly how cruelly Meghan Markle treated him. In fact, the famous story goes that she sent the ring back by FedEx and wanted some sort of magic mixer, the sort of thing, right? But of course, again, what I find fascinating is the fact that really, according to a well-placed source, Trevor didn't really much or know that much about Meghan's background either. It seemingly is something that she's always cultivating, keeping away and making sure that people cannot find out for whatever reason. I believe, like a lot of celebrities, they like to rewrite their story. And if you've told a story, then you have to keep it there. By meeting family and friends, they can say all sorts of things about you behind the background. But this particular element I find fascinating because Meghan has got through a lot of personal gal pals. And you have to share, and there are moments caught off guard, maybe over a few glasses of wine, nibbling pretzels, that sort of stuff. Now, according to a former gal pal who was very close to Meghan Markle, who I recently spoke to, basically, Meghan is one of these people that she makes you feel like you are the center of her world. She will call you up, point out that she's seen shoes in a magazine that you think you like. She makes you think that she's thinking about you permanently, and you are totally drawn in. Meanwhile, she seemingly, as ever, gets all the information about you, everything from the problems that you may have had to marriage troubles, boyfriend troubles, and then circulates those stories, not in a negative way, they pointed out, but somehow they come back as her stories. You get the picture. Now, as ever, we have to say allegedly. But what's fascinating is that, well, according to this gal pal, apparently Meghan is 100% sure that Trevor Engelson will never speak about their marriage. Over drinks one night, she said Trevor will never ever discuss our private life or indeed our marriage. We both made a pact, and he knows that if he breaks it, she too could also reveal something. Now, I find this very strange personally, because when you consider it, I would say that Mr. Engelson is a gentleman and a scholar, as we say over here in the United Kingdom, because as I said, he could have made a lot of money, and one can only imagine what sort of pact, if that is the case, that Meghan and he decided to make. One would suspect, of course, that he's just washed his hands of something that was so difficult in his life, and according to a source, tried his very best to make very happy. But Meghan was apparently very unhappy during that sort of short marriage. But to say that he'll never speak in public, Meghan apparently is 100% sure. So back to the children. Was she able to give him children or not? Well, obviously Trevor is the only man that can actually verify that. And according to that source, well, he's never going to speak. So some might say, once again, it's a win for Meghan. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.